was just reading another Mandela effect thread over on Poll, and those things get me so upset because it's always, there's always enough people in there that are always trying to say it's your memory. Like, no, it's just, you know, you just forgot. And it's like, yeah, that's not how, it's like they don't understand what's even being presented. Misremembering. It's like, you've got, of course there are shills, right? People that are paid to kind of do that. But then you also have these Agent Smith-like system defenders that are going to come out and just talk nonsense like that. There's clearly something happening because people are having the same faulty memory problems with the same stuff. And I mean, it can be proven. There's stuff called residue. And I'm going to show you some right now. I always say, when I talk about this subject, music, as the great Bob Seger once said, rock and roll never forgets. And it doesn't. And that's why we have these lovely examples. Think Visual by the Kinks was a 1986 studio album. It wasn't one of their better ones. A couple good tracks on it, but by this time they had kind of, the gas was out of the tank. The brothers weren't getting along, which is nothing new. But it's pretty underwhelming. But the cover has the Thinker statue on it, the way I remember it, where he's got his hand on his head. Now, for some reason, and as I'm going to show these examples here, music, records, and songs and song titles, even videos, don't seem to be affected by the Mandela effect. I don't know what that is, but things all exist as they did before. So that's just one, a visual one. Another one, the one I always like to talk about is Come Out and Play by Twisted Sister. The album's called Come Out and Play, and the concept behind that one was sort of like a street gang thing, like Warriors, the movie The Warriors, and the stage set was a street, and they came up through manholes. It was really cool. I didn't get to see that tour, but I would have liked to. They don't have good footage of that either. It's kind of hard to find stuff from that. They were on the going down the other side of the mountain at this point in popularity. But at the beginning of the album, there's a little skit with singer Dee Snider, and he reenacts the scene from the film The Warriors at the end of the movie where they're hiding out under the pier, and I forget the main bad guy's name, but he's got these two bottles and he's rattling them together going, "Warriors, come out and play." So Dee Snider does this with except he says Twisted Sister, so he's like, "Twisted Sister, come out and play." And then the song is called Come Out and Play, the title track. And, you know, the album's called Come Out and Play. It's all Come Out and Play. You get the idea. Now, the line in the movie has changed to Come Out to Play, which sounds retarded to begin with, but I mean, that's not what he said. So now, if that indeed was the case, and it's always been Come Out to Play, then why did the band, everyone involved with the production of that album, including Atlantic Records and all of the publishing, the music publishing, all those people just got it wrong, and no one mentioned, hey, you know, this isn't the line in the movie, right? I direct messaged a couple of the guys from that band a few times on Twitter and Instagram. I've gotten responses from them before about different stuff, and no one ever mentioned this. No one ever got back to me on it. And again, it's like one of those things that I always talk about here. People don't give a fuck. You know, you could, the ground could open up and a fucking monster could come up through the ground here, and they'd just walk around it. Again, this leads back to what these people are, and also the dumbing down, the desensitizing of people as well. But no one really cares. You know, no one really cares about this Mandela stuff. So anyway, another good one is the mirror, mirror on the wall. How you doing? Mirror, mirror on the wall from like Cinderella, the Cinderella thing, where they whatever. It's so hard. I gotta have that hard ignore on, but sometimes I look. The Limp Bizkit. No, don't let fucking people throw you. There's two instances of this mirror, mirror on the wall thing. One of them is in the song Squonk by Genesis. There's a breakdown in the middle of that song where they go into a part where he sings mirror, mirror on the wall, and he doesn't say magic mirror on the wall, he says mirror, mirror on the wall. And then Duran Duran have a live album called Thanksgiving out. And at the beginning of the set, right, they play audio from what sounds like a play version of Cinderella, or some kind of version of Cinderella, where they're doing the dialogue from the Queen's perspective, and there's mirror, mirror on the wall, you know. Although these days people will tell you it's always been magic mirror on the wall. It's just retarded. It's stupid. It's like the same thing that I always complain about when you got like a glass full of water and someone's just insisting that it's empty. You know, even though you're looking at it, you're like, no, that's empty. Like, that's the kind of cognitive dissonance kind of thing that goes on in this world now. What other music examples are there? What's the other ones? Is that all I can think of right now? It might be all I can think of right now. Duran Duran, Genesis, Dee Snider. I did a video about this exact thing like about a year ago, and I gave a bunch of examples. I'll have to check that one out and see if there's something different in there. But yeah, people throw me. Like, and the thing is, like, I knew that guy was going to say something. You can just tell that certain people can't just let you walk by and do your own thing. If you're not looking at them, certain people, if you don't take notice of them, they get upset. Like, look at me, I'm here. You know, I'm this guy. I'm King Man. You know, it's like, no. If you ignore them, they get fucking upset. So I knew just going right by, I'm like, all right, this is going to be something. But and sometimes they can't think of anything to say, but they want to say something because they want you to notice them. So then they say, like, Limp Bizkit. What the fuck does that have to do? Limp Bizkit. There's one guy once over here going through the same thing, because what happened was I came up on him quick, you know, walking by, but he had to say something. He had to say something because he saw I was doing something that didn't involve him, or he wasn't the star of the fucking area of whatever was going on. I wasn't paying attention to him. So he's looking at what I'm holding in my hand. I wasn't like, and I wasn't doing anything. I was just talking, you know, and he's like, he sees me, and it's like you see his brain working in 100 different directions. Like he's like, oh, Ross! He yells out Ross, because I had a Ross bag in my hand. That's all he could come up with in short order, you know. And I know he was like a black guy, but it's not really a black or white thing. It's like a attention whore thing, or some people just, they need to be involved in your shit. They need to be, if you're not looking at them, they get upset. They get upset. Although, you know, I do have fun with it though, because you can kind of tell what kind of people want you to look at them. And those are the people I go out of my way not to look at. And they get really upset by it. It's funny. But yeah, so that's music has a lot of stuff like that. Something about records and albums, and to some extent like videos too. Those are a video thing too. one band that had something that was residue. It's called residue. Like whenever there's something that was there before, that the claim has changed. But the thing on poll today, what I was just looking at was who's doing it, you know? That's been the big question. Now the CERN people would like you to think it's them. And people always talk about that picture with the guy sitting there with the Mandela sign. But even beyond that, they were having tour groups there. I don't know, 2017, 18, like schools could have kids go there. And in their brochure, right, there was like pictures of all the stuff that people claim to be Mandela effects. They had C-3PO was in it, Darth Vader was in it, the princess, the queen looking at the mirror is in it. Like all this stuff, like they're trolling people with no context. Now, I talked about this before, and I went crazy looking for this brochure on the internet, and I can't find it. Maybe I'll give it a try again when I'm editing this one. But yeah, it's crazy stuff. But I don't know who's doing it. The fact that they are kind of positioning themselves to make you think they're doing it makes me think they're not doing it. And that's kind of the conclusion I came up with before, that it's not them. But they want you to think it's them because they want you to think they have control of this very weird supernatural situation. The music stuff is minor compared to some of the fucking body changes. Our bodies have changed like a lot. Our organs, the place the organs are, our skulls, the shape of our skulls, they've all got upgrades. They've gotten upgrades. Just do even a normie search on body changes, Mandela effect, just in Google, and it'll give you a list of all the stuff. You know, people have documented it pretty well. And the thing I noticed kind of early on in studying this, was the body changes, is they're all upgrades. They're all upgrades. Like, for instance, kidney punches. That used to be a thing where in boxing, you give someone a kidney punch. We can't do that anymore because the kidneys, like all the other organs down there, have now been shoved into a cage. And the fucking rib cage now, the rib cage, from my memory and from most of my life, came down to about halfway down your chest, like here, like right about there. That's where it was. But now it runs the whole length down to your waist. It looks like something out of an Aliens movie. It's fucking crazy. It's fucking crazy. The skull completely, not completely changed, but it changed enough. There's the ridges over the eyes, the way that the jaws are, how it's set, the cranium, the eye sockets. If I go into the eye sockets, when I was a kid, I used to like skulls. I still like skulls, get skulls all over the house. But the creepiest part of skulls for me was always like the eyes, were these hollow things, and they just went back into the skull, you know, little caves. And I remember, like from Shokasugi movies, you could stab somebody through the eye, even like the Steven Seagal movie like that, whatever that was, on the boat with Tommy Lee Jones. If you stab someone through the eye, it could go up into their brain and kill them. Well, it's impossible now because we have bones behind our eyes, behind our you know, where our eye sockets are. None of the changes are a negative or a deficit. They're all positive additions. They're all upgrades. But none of it's downgrade. Even our organs have been improved, as if we need to handle a more toxic environment. Our livers have grown in size. I had a friend that had, help me, hepatitis. And he had problems with it for hepatitis, blah, blah, blah. And he went one day, I think it was 2018, and it was all gone. Like, it cleared up. Like, his doctor said, I don't know how that happened, but it's gone. That's because it's bigger now. His liver's bigger now. And if you look at all the organs that have been changed or added or moved around, including the heart no longer being on the left-hand side of the body, it's right in the middle. So when you used to do the Pledge of Allegiance and you put your hand on the left side, that's not where your heart is anymore. But the changes, the organ changes, seem to be preparing the body for some kind of toxic environment. They become a lot more sturdy in like a combat sense. There was a lot of places you could hit nerves before that have been covered up. It's almost like someone looked at the body and said, all right, we have to improve this for a battle situation in a toxic environment. And they did. There's a way you can sleep now. I used to sleep with a pillow between my knees. At some point, I realized I wasn't doing that anymore, because now you have a lot more flexibility in your body, and now what I sleep in is what's called the angel position. I wasn't able to do this before because my body just didn't turn that way. My shoulders are higher and more square. There's a lot more like shielding there. Like, me and my friend were talking about this. He was following this whole thing too. And we were in the elevator at his building. He's like, look at this. He's throwing himself against the wall. He's like, I can throw myself all around and, it doesn't hurt. And, nothing's going to happen to me. It's really weird. It's weird. Like, those are kind of the most mind-blowing changes. Yeah, the country's moving. That's weird. Historical events like, the Black Tom attacks, which happened before World War II in the U.S., where they tried to blow up the Statue of Liberty. And that's how the torch got damaged, and why you can't go in it now. It blew out every window in Lower Manhattan, and it was the first terrorist attack on U.S. soil by the Germans at a weapons depot center in the water. What the fuck's the waterway? I almost said Jersey City Lake. What the fuck am I talking about? And then the actual Ellis Island has changed to Liberty Island. There's just a lot of that stuff. But to me, that's always something you're looking at on a screen. The body changes are things that have happened to you. Like, just for an instance, just look at your eyes in the mirror. Okay, it used to be, whatever color eyes you had blue eyes, okay? It would be blue around the cornea, and then the rest of your eye was white. Well, now there's a black circle around the color, separating the white and the color, which was never there before. Like, go check that out. That's fucked up. Another thing too is try giving the thumbs up. You know the thumbs up, right? Here's what the thumbs up looks like. The fuck is this? That's the thumbs up. Thumbs up used to be kind of straight, like thumbs up. But now it's not. It's like this. It's like you're trying to fucking flag the ZZ Top car down. Another thing too, it's like the space between your small finger and the rest of your fingers has increased. Look at that. Look at the difference there. Just so without rings. This is just my hand relaxed. You'll notice these three fingers, and the space between that is much bigger. Look, there we go. That's a better way to look at it. And because of that, you have more of a grip. You can grab more. You can spread out more. They're all upgrades. I was talking to a pastor through his blog who theorizes these body upgrades, they're not for us. It's so that the bodies can be strong when demonic entities take these bodies from us, or those who they can take bodies from, to fight in some kind of final battle against Father Yah that he believes is coming. And hence that's why they're built for a more toxic environment, because they're going to kind of terraform the earth to be like a hell. It's really out there shit. But it's the only thing I've heard that kind of makes me think that's why we would have all this stuff. That's the only explanation that I think sounds right. You know, yeah, the final battle with God in a hellish environment, you know, it nails it. It checks all the boxes, you know, but maybe there's something to it, because if they were going to change things about us, why would they ever give us upgrades? They wouldn't. Is that in line with anything else that they did? You know, if they're indeed doing it. And the fact that it's something, I don't think it's something good doing these things. Only because why would a good force do this kind of stuff? Because outside the body upgrades, the only thing it could lead to is confusion, and everything connected to that isn't good. I don't know. It's bizarre. Now, any of the stuff I talked about, you can find it. It's still up there. It's still online, all this stuff. But check out the body changes. Check out the skull changes. Our skulls look more demonic. There's a ridge above our eyes that look like little points that you'd see on a demon. It's almost like they aesthetically made it so when the body's get inhabited by demons. And now this body's inhabited by demons thing, I see connections to the jab with this. I see connections to 5G with this. The dance of death people are doing, where they're spinning around and dying. Are those bodies being taken? Where are all the bodies? Check this shit out. The people that supposedly died of COVID, right? And that includes the people who have died from the cure, because they're always said to be a victim of long COVID. It's not the cure. You can't, like, have funerals and stuff. You can't take these bodies. You can't do the regular stuff with them. And there was this one researcher online a couple of years ago who was trying to keep track of where they're actually going. And what they were saying is the embalmers were taking them, they had embalmed them in a certain way, and then they would go to, you know, the graveyards where, you know, they have to be put in special, they couldn't have a funeral and stuff. But that wasn't happening. The numbers weren't going up in either of those circumstances. It's almost like the bodies were just vanishing. Almost like, because that's what the fuck was happening. Are they storing them somewhere to be used when they can be inhabited? I don't know. You know, this is, I mean, you can't take any of this shit off the table. Like 10 years ago, or even 5 years ago, that would sound like complete lunacy. But from what we've seen and what we've experienced and what is going on now every day, what we see all the time, I don't know. That's in the realm of possibility. Are they making the demon army to fight Father Yah with? And are those of us who have avoided the cure, are we safe from having our bodies taken? Or are they going to get us in some other way? Are they planning to get us in some other way? They can't win. Not going to win this fight. It's impossible for them to do so. And winning the fight isn't their move. They know they can't win the fight. You know, that's not their point. Their point isn't to win it. Their idea is to take down as many people they can, as many parts of the Father's creation, to spoil it and bring it down with him, to destroy it, to turn it. It's like the witch in Wizard of Oz, like she's melting there, right? But she's grabbing all this other stuff to try to take it down with her. The way I describe the beast all the time, the dying beast. The beast is dying. You know, it's flopping on the ground. Its tentacles are going anywhere and just slamming anything they can. Because, and that's why it can sometimes seem like black pilling, like, oh, this bad shit's happening. It's only all this bad shit's happening because it's randomly just trying to destroy everything as it dies. This is a pretty schizo Saturday schizo patrol, huh? This was a good one. Alright, I gotta go get some cream. Don't blame the teacher, blame the school. Wow, I got a new phone and I don't know how to shut it off. Oh my god, this long COVID's killing me.